Well, here's the reason why I can't go back to spiritualism. I can't go back to spirituality. I could invest in, Wiccan practices, various forms of neo-paganism, of druidry, of religion, different types of religion, whether it's Judaism, which I kind of flirted with at one point, because there's a whole bunch of backstory to that, which I won't go into. Islam, because I was being, effectively being religiously groomed by some Muslim friends I used to have back in the day. And also Christianity, different versions of Christianity, which I flirted with. I used to have a friendship with a number of Jehovah's Witnesses, and other beliefs too. I cannot level the supernatural with reality. It's, a massive conflict which can only be satisfied by ignorance or elaborate doublethink. You are required to simply not know things, to not have the intelligence to recognize things for what they are. See the world in God goggles, or come up with a reason to say, I can wear one monocle, half a god goggle, a monocle, and I can square this. I can see this with that, and I can see that with the other, and I can say, yes, but this makes sense considering there are different things at work. There is the earthly and there is the divine, or there are different levels of vibration, or different states of being, or there is God's hand in all things. There is good and evil in the world. You can level things so easily, but it's a kind of double think. You can accept that this works like this. Oh yes, the moon looks like this, and we know things about the moon scientifically, but then you have to say, well, the moon, it was cut in half, according to Islam. Right. The moon does not create light. That is a scientific fact. It reflects light, so there is that reflection. It's quite light material, light grey material. It reflects a lot of that light back, not perfectly, of course, because it's not a mirror, but it does kind of reflect light, and we see it as being illuminated at certain times within its cycle, most notably when we end up with a full moon, and not when we have a new moon. So that's when it's just coming out of, its eclipse. But it's not creating light. But according to this religious view and certain spiritual views, certain claims in different cultures, including, I think, with Islam, the moon generates light. I cannot accept that and that as being true when they are mutually exclusive, unless you're ignorant of one and believe in the other, or you accept that the science says this, but you believe that, and you either interpret the religious by moderating the religious, or by having a kind of double think, where you go, they're both literally true. There is no conflict. There is no difference. These things are both correct. I just don't think it works on any level to say that. I don't think it makes any sense to say that these things are both true. And there are many other examples, many other things, reality, things we can test, we can say are true, things claimed within religion which you have to reinterpret or ignore the difference between that and reality, or not be aware of the things between, the differences between that and that which is known to us, that which is evident. And that's why I could not go back to church. I could not convert and go to synagogue, or go to mosque, or go to temple, or different kinds, different places of worship. I could not go back to a spiritualist church and truly believe it without doubt. I would still be testing. I could only regress so far where I'm thinking, yeah, but that's really general. And if I became a medium, or an amateur medium, a person sitting in meditation circles and trying a little bit, just like I used to, where I used to meditate and think I was giving stuff from my own imagination, really, but thinking it was coming from elsewhere, I'd think to myself, is this really evidence? Is that person simply accepting it? Is that person merely taking what they can and interpreting it, giving me a full sense of belief, a full sense of knowledge, which doesn't really work in reality? There are too many conflicts, if you're a skeptic, for you to go backwards, at least if you're being honest.